All right, let's start with the prayers. Om Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Mahārnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat
Parabrahma Tasmai Shri
Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana
Saviryam Karvati
Avadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakyakaram Vararuchim
Vakyakaram Vararuchim
Bhāṣyakaram Patanjalim
Bhāṣyakaram Patanjalim
Pāṇiniಂ Sutrakarancha
Pāṇiniಂ Sutrakaram Cha
Pranatosmi Munitrayam
Pranatosmi Munitrayam
Atha Maheshwara Sutrani
Atha Maheshwara Sutrani
Ayyivun
Ayun
Riluk
Riluk
Evong
Ayong
Ay Ouch
Ay Ouch
Hayavarat
Hayavarat
Lan
Lan
Nyamangananam
Yamagananam
Jabhanya
Yabhanya
Gadadash
Gardash
Jabagadadash
Yabagardash
Kapa Chatata Chatatam
Kapa Chatata
Chatatav
Kapai
Pai
Kapai
Shashasar
Ekaśeṣa
Shashasar
Hal
Al
Al
Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani.
Iti
Maheshwara
Maheshwarani Sutrani.
Okay. About the homework, there were a couple of yeah, okay. Everybody please be on mute now. So the prayer one or two is okay.
System processing. Follow the instructions.
Okay. Natarajan, you are on unmute. Please be on mute. Okay. About the homework. So homework was pretty simple. Now that there was some question about the pronunciation at page. Okay, this is on page 6. How do I make that full page? Full screen. Okay, is it big enough?
Yes.
Somebody respond. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Very nice.
All right. So we were on the exercise because people were, I think, are getting bored without any exercise. So somebody asked, give us some exercise. Okay. So, so we are saying that akara, ikara, ukara, and rikara. Okay, they have 18. So 3 varieties of length: short, long, and elongated, or hrasva, dirgha, and pluta. Okay. Now suppose I say, take the example of, because we always take the example of let me take the example of u. So hrasva is u, dirgha is u, and pluta is u. Okay. And then all these 3 can be nasalized or non-nasalized. Okay. So u is non-nasalized and u is non-nasalized. This is like in Hindi we say hu. Okay, there's a dirgha hu following a akara, but you can see the nasal part. U and u. Same way, u and u is non-nasalized and nasalized. So pluta is just extension of the dirgha. Okay, u is nasalized and u is non-nasalized. So the 3 times 3 lengths, and nasalized, non-nasalized, 6 varieties. Now each of these can be pronounced with the anudatta lower, like say u, lower part of the, the anudatta is pronounced at the lower part of the organ. or the sthana. Sthana is lips here. So U is the lower. Then if you say higher pitch, U, then it will be udat. Okay. And Swarita will be a mix of both. Okay. And this may be easier for the people who are trained in music or chanting, but I haven't attended those things in any class. So Swarita is the mix of the both. So it is both in the kind of in the pronunciation or the pitch. Okay. Did I answer the question? So the homework was to write down the 18 varieties similar to what is written here for A. Akara as the example is given. So the homework is to write for Ikara and Ukara. So you can, if you see that Hraswa Dirgha Pluta, okay, Udatta, which is the normal without any swara symbol. Okay, the top row is without any swara symbol, which we come across normally. So A, and A. So the next three are A, and A. So same thing you do for E. See my screen also, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Hope nothing happens. All right. So any other questions about the homework?
So
it is simple. You just complete the table similar to the Akara for E and U. Okay. And any homework, because the class, the number of people in the class is big and everybody is on the remote. Any homework I give, that is for your own practice. And I there is no homework correction. And if there is something like a fill in the blank later on, then we can discuss it after so that you can check whether you did it right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then if you guys know somebody nearby or in close contact attending the class, so then you can mutually check yourself. Okay. So I am not expecting any homework submission and grading, nothing of that sort.
Jagdish, can you go up? Just one quick question. I understand nasalized, non-nasalized.
Okay.
Can you pronounce the middle, lower, and the higher?
Okay, that is what I'm saying. There is people with some musical background who know the pitch differences can do it better. Okay. And for the grammar purposes, the notations are more important than how you pronounce it, because all of us now learn not, this is not like the Karna Parampara anymore for grammar, right? So as long as you can understand an underline is anudatta and a dash on top is udatta, that is all matters for the grammar part of it. So whether I pronounce it high or no, it is not of any important anymore. It was one time when we, people didn't have learning tools. Everything is like teachers told and students listened. Then the pitch was very important. Now there is written notations for that. So as long as you can understand how the anudatta is written and udatta is written, and what Pāṇini uses these notations, anudatta, udatta, swarita notations, what he uses for is more important for us. Like the interpretation of the udatta, anudatta, swaritas, what is its grammatical importance? That is more important than how you pronounce it. Okay, because this is not a chanting, this is not a music class. Okay, but Pāṇini defines anudatta as the pronouns in the lower part of the organ. Like say, if I'm saying a ka, I can say ka, lower, and ka, the higher pitch. Okay. And Pāṇini, in the grammatical sense, it is, whether you chant it or not, doesn't matter. As long as you can recognize that it is anudatta or udatta or swarita, then that gives you some special information, especially about the dhatus when we come to volume 1. And there, whenever we say dhatu, we never listen to that. We always look at the dhatu pata. In dhatu pata, the notations are given. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Ram. I have a question. How do you get to one notes? Are you keeping it in the same place as?
Yeah, I have a shortcut on my bottom of the
question
screen. So I
is,
just click on it and it goes.
no, it
No.
looks like you are saving it in OneDrive. That is a remote service. When
Oh, okay.
bandwidth is
Then
low.
I think it's automatically saving. I have to get out of that if that is causing the problem.
No, probably you can save it on your local, but
I
that's
would
the
prefer
start of
to.
trying it on Word or some other local
Ah.
file. That will be easier.
Okay, I have to ask somebody how to do that. I prefer to do that also. I am very, very reluctant to go on the cloud and the OneDrive and all those things. Okay, I will do that after this. I'll ask somebody how to do that. Okay. We are on, right? You can hear me. Hello?
Yes.
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 Okay, okay.
We can
Because
see
suddenly-
your document and we can hear you also very well.
Huh?
We can see the documents you've shared, that you're
Okay.
sharing, and we can hear you also.
Okay, okay, good. So now let's continue where we stopped. I think I had a couple of other things. Some questions came up last class. Okay. So somebody towards the end of the class asked the question, what, the sutra lakshanas, alpaksharam, asandigdam. What is the other one? Astobham and anavadyam. Okay. So there was a question about, other things are pretty clear, but I said astobham and anavadyam, different people interpret it differently. But stobha, okay, astobha is that which doesn't have stobha. The word stobha are the extra sounds which do not convey any meaning. Okay, like especially in mantras or even in subhashitas and shlokas, a lot of times you hear the words like cha, api, tu, okay, words like that, okay, and sometimes the chandas require certain number of letters per quarter per pada. So to fill that, sometimes people add those, and when they're added for that purpose, those words, the short words, cha, api, tu, he, like this. And especially in Vedanta classes also, you will hear the word like a he, for people saying that, oh, that is for the stressing some point. Those kinds of words are called stobha. Okay. And this stobha is very common in Samaveda mantras. Okay. Additionally, things are added like there are 11 different sounds of stobhas. So those kinds of words or those kinds of sounds or words that do not carry any special meaning, intended meaning, because sutra is alpakshara. Okay, so you don't want any, even a half a letter which doesn't add to the content or what the grammarian want to convey. Those things should not be there. So stobha is there. So this is a reference I got somewhere. I think this defines pretty well. So I will just read it because this is in full in Sanskrita. Astobam, okay. Mantradishu kevalam padapuranadhyarthe varna visheshaha stobha uchyate. So stobha means in mantra, etc. Just to fill the chandas, some extra letters are added. These extra letters are called stobha. Okay, I'm reading that in Sanskrita and giving the meaning. Samavedasya gane bahutra adhikadhvaninam upayogah kriyate. In Samaveda, because it is a lot of singing, unlike the other Vedas which are mantras, Samaveda, there is bahutra in many places. Adhikadhvaninam, extra sounds are used. Upayogah kriyate. Okay. So stobha, if you look for the definition of stobha, they say sama.
The screen actually is cut off on the right side, so we don't see the other end of the shloka actually. Yeah.
How about now?
No, I see the full thing, so maybe it's the
No,
device.
no, he
Okay,
just
now-
moved. Yeah.
No, this is, I think.
Oh, I see the whole thing.
I made the OneNote full screen. Now we can see that, right?
Yes.
Yes, now we can
Okay.
see. Thank you.
Let me make this also full screen. Okay, should be good
Yeah.
now.
Yes, we are good. Thank you.
Okay, so Stobaha, definition of Stoba, Sama Avayava Visheshaha, part of Samaveda, Gītālāpa Pūranaksharaha, just to, they help chanting for the Pada Purana and make it more musical. Some extra sounds are added. Those sounds are called Stoba. Okay. So, Etesham Dvaninam Tata Kopi Artaha Nabhavati. These extra sounds for the grammar kind of studies, which are very, very precise studies, okay, they do not carry any extra meaning, any extra utility. And sutras are highly utilitarian. They use only as much as required, nothing extra. So that is why the stoba aksharas are unnecessary. So a sutra should not have stoba akshara. Okay. So by definition, sutra should be astoba. Okay. And the definition of stoba also says in Samaveda, there are trayodasha, 13 different types of stobas, means extra sounds which do not carry any meaning. Okay. And there is no place for those kinds of things in sutras. That is why sutras has to be astobham. Okay. Parantu gane madhuryam janayati. While chanting or singing, they are melodious to listen. That is why in those artistic value, they are added. Whereas sutra is purely scientific and it is technical. So they are of no use. So they are not used. Evam dhvanihi stobha iti katyate sutreshu tadrisha dhvaninam prayogaha nabhavati. In sutras, that kinds of unused sounds are not used. Tasmat sutram astobham iti katyate. Okay, so that is the definition of astoba. Stoba is unnecessary sounds or sounds which do not have specific use in grammar. So those kinds of sounds which are generally added for musicality or to fill the chandas, those things you will not see in sutras. Okay. The next word is anavadyam. Okay, anavadyam, vadya means something worth telling. Okay, so anavadyam means the sutra should not have anything that should not be said. Okay, like for example, in later on when we come to Vyanjana Sandhi, you come to some cases where you see an obvious reason for making a sandhi. All the conditions are met, but still the sandhi is intentionally not made. Okay, we come across a case called Prakriti Bhava Sandhi. Okay, Prakriti Bhava means as it is in the natural place, natural state, not making the sandhi. So there is a reason for not making the sandhi. Okay, if you make the sandhi, there is a possibility of totally misunderstanding, totally wrong meaning. So those kinds of, whenever those kinds of cases happen, the grammarians are very careful as to say, okay, you should not make the sandhi here. Okay, so those kinds of possibilities are avoided. So this reference says, kadachit sandhihi asti chet nindaniyaha artaha bhavati. So in some cases, if you make the sandhi, the nindaniya, in a totally wrong meaning, will come out. Ekam udaharanam atra pachyamaha. Let's see one example. Suppose there is two words are together, dhruvam and ritam. Okay, so dhruvam, purvapada ends with the makara and the parapada starts with ritam. If you combine them, then it will sound like dhuvam ritam. Okay, dhruvam ritam. Now we know that the word mrita has a negative meaning, like dead, right? Mrita. So in cases like this, the grammar rules will say that you have to specifically pronounce dhruvam, ritam separately. Otherwise, it will become a anavadya, should not be said kind of word. Okay. So those kinds of instances are called anavadyam. So grammar takes, or the grammarians takes care by writing certain rules so that these things do not happen in the sutras. Okay, so whoever asked the question last time, hope they got the answer. Okay, specifically about those two words, there was a question.
Yeah, thank you, Mahoday. That was very clear.
Okay, so now let me go back to the textbook. Okay, so we were going to start in earnest the pure grammar in today's class, because this is the introduction to Pāṇinian Maheshwara Sutras. Whatever time we spent from class 10 to this class was mainly on pronunciation, okay, which is not Ashtadhyayi or grammar. It is mainly on pronunciation, or it's on Shiksha Sutras, okay. But they're important, and we have to do that before starting the actual grammar. So today will be the introduction to Maheshwara Sutras. Okay, that reminds me another little thing I wanted to mention. Okay, I've been saying that Pāṇiniya Vyakarana is subscriptive because the Vyakarana rules were written afterwards, because Vedas, Upanishads, and some of the Kavyas were already there at that time. So it is not prescriptive. Okay, Vedas and some of the older poetry, there are instances where you cannot apply those rules. Okay. So that is the reason why we sometimes come across some words which cannot be derived using the Pāṇinian grammar, or some sandhi rules where you think there should be sandhi should result in this combination, but it doesn't. Okay. So those kinds of, there are two specific words you might come across sometimes. People say chandasa prayoga. Chandasa prayoga means the words or usage that is found in Vedas and Upanishads and some of the Kavyas, like maybe Ramayana, Mahabharata, those kinds of Kavyas, Adi Kavyas, where all the rules of Pāṇinian grammar does not apply. Okay, or they look like they're not grammatical. Okay, but that is the Chandasa Prayoga and Arsha Prayoga. Chandasa is, if it is related to Vedas, it is called Chandasa. And if it is any other poetry or literary work by older rishis, it is Arsha Prayoga. Again, Arsha, I think everybody knows the meaning of Arsha. Arsha is derived from the word rishi. Okay, so that came from the rishis is Arsha. So the usage by the rishis is Arsha Prayoga. So those are the cases where all the Pāṇini rules may not be applicable for such ancient literature. Those are called Arsha or Chandasa Prayoga. So at that time, I didn't have a ready example, but then weekend we were having a Gita Vichara class, which was on Mundaka Upanishad, and we started one the new section. So the very first section has good example of Chandasa Prayoga. Now, anybody who's attended even the basic Vedanta classes, Upanishad classes, have heard this very popular, very commonly heard mantra, Dvasuparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vriksham Parishashva Jate Tayoranyaf Pippalam Swadu Atti Anashnananyo Abhichakashiti. Okay, Mundaka Upanishad, the 311. Now, if you see this is that instance where the Upanishad says there are the two birds. One bird is tasting everything available it sees, and the other bird is quietly watching everything around. Okay, that one. So these red letters, the four words, Dva, Suparna, Sayuja, Sakhaya. Okay. Now this is referring to the two birds. Okay. Suparna is the bird, and all the other three are adjectives. Okay. Now when there are two birds, which number do you use? Ekavachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. Dvivachana. Okay. Now, anybody who has learned even a basic exercise like a Ramaha Ramau Ramaha, you know that any pullinga like this Suparna is pullinga. So pullinga dvivachana will end with au. So the right usage, if you apply the Pāṇinian rules, this should be dvau, suparnau, sayujau, sakhayau. That should have been the Pāṇinian usage. But you see, all these four do not follow the Pratama Vibhakti Dvivachana of Akaranta Pullinga rule as prescribed by Pāṇinian rules. Okay. So now, for the example, this dva is the pratipadika is dvi, okay, which is always dvivachana. Okay, dvi is always dvivachana. So pullinga dvivachana pratama vibhakti will be dvau, and super it should be suparnau. So second word is the dvitiya vibhakti pratama vibhakti dvivachana of suparna should have been suparnau according to the Pāṇini rules. And sayuj is the pratipadika for sayuja, it should have been sayujau. Okay. So as you see this, and then when you interpret this, then you say, when you're writing the anvaya in the verse, in the prose form, then in the anvaya you write dvau, suparnau, sayujau, sakhayau, samanam, vriksham, parishashvajate, all those things. And then in the parenthesis you write chandasam. Okay, that means it is dvau, but in Vedic prayoga it is in dva. So dva means dvau. Okay. So that is what you will find in any comments on this Mundaka Upanishad on this verse. Okay, they will say dvau, then in parenthesis put dva because it is chandasam. Okay, so that is about the subscriptive and prescriptive. Let's get back to the text now.
Can I?
Question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I? So what you're saying, if there is a seeming error in Shastras or Upanishads, we should overlook because they preceded the
Exactly.
And they were they are grandfathered in.
Yes, they are grandfathered in. You are talking legal terms, but to put it simply, whenever there is a Chandasa Prayoga which doesn't fit into Pāṇinian grammar,
Correct.
the Chandasa and Arsha Prayoga will prevail.
Okay.
Okay? So they are overriding.
Yes.
Okay? Grammar came later.
Jagdish ji, I joined a little bit later. Would you mind just briefly explaining Chandas and Arsh Prayoga one more time, please?
Okay, Chandasa is those kinds of word usage or combination of words which seems not to fit Pāṇinian grammar.
Okay.
Okay, found in the Vedas and Upanishads only.
Okay.
Those are called Chandasas.
Okay.
Okay, so the Vedic usage which cannot be fully explained with Pāṇinian grammar rules.
Okay.
Those prayoga, those usages are called Chandasas.
And what is the Arsh?
Okay. Now, Chandasa, because Chandas or the Vedas are not assigned to one specific Rishi, but there are other kavyas. People have written like, Valmiki, Vyasa, all those people are before Pāṇinian grammar.
Okay.
So in their literature, whatever they wrote, if you find something which cannot be explained with Pāṇinian rules, then you accept it as it is and say that this is Arsha Prayoga, we will take it as it is.
Okay.
You don't say that, oh, Valmiki made a mistake.
Okay.
Or Vyasa made a mistake. You don't say that.
Okay. So Chandas and Arsh Prayogas are, we take them as they are.
As they are.
Yeah.
Okay, they have the final, or the what is that? Right of way. They have the right of way.
They have the right of, they have the precedence.
Yes.
But and then what is that word adya in the brackets?
Adya, in the bracket, Adya means both of them together. Adya means something that was there before. Adi.
Okay. Adi. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And for the Adi, I split it into two. Vedas, what is contained in Vedas has a separate name, Chandasa Prayoga. Non-Veda poetry before Pāṇini, written by some other rishis, that's Arsha Prayoga. So both are Adya because both of them are well before Pāṇini.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I have a question.
Good question. Okay, go ahead.
Is the reason why it is Suparna instead of Suparno because it is an indication of the Asmad pronoun, Avam part. Avam is pronoun. Like there's a connection of Mahavakya kind of thing.
No, there is no Asmad kind of thing. Asmad means I pronoun. That sense is not there. This is all in third person. Anyway, there are two birds of same kind of color and same appearance.
Yeah, but the bird basically refers to the Atman part.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows because this is in the Vedic and it doesn't follow the grammar. Then how could you explain why, right? So we take it at that. It fits the chandas, and even if it is low super now, it would have fit the chandas. It wouldn't have spoiled the meter, but it is there that way. So we take it at that way. Why it is like those, I don't think anybody has the answer.
Thanks.
Okay, you can ask around, and if you come across, let the class know. Okay, but anywhere, if you see, Śāṅkara-bhāṣya or anything, then they will say dvau suparnau, but it is dva is a chandasa prayoga.
So what is the question?
Question is why it is dva?
Okay, yeah.
Why not something else? And I don't think anybody has the answer. At least I don't have the answer right now.
Okay.
So we will take it as chandasa prayoga. And when you explain the meaning, then it is two birds. So dvau suparnau. Okay. And that is how you write the bhashya and things later on. We know that the meaning will come only when it is dvivachana and pullinga because referring to a bird. Okay. Maheshwara-sutrani. Okay. So let's go by the book. Sage Pāṇini is said to have received 14 sutras, which are called Maheshwara-sutrani, directly from Lord Shiva. Okay, there is some story, but like in most of the Indian literature, it is sometimes some deity, just like even for Ramanujam in the recent times, some deity appears in dream or during meditation. So this is when noble thoughts or noble ideas come. So according to the story, Pāṇini was meditating and he heard just like Shiva's Damaru sounds, 14 different sounds. Okay. And that is the building block for Pāṇinian grammar. The sound, there is nothing new. What he heard is all the Saṁskṛta aksharas or the aksharas which were available in the language at that time. But the sequence in which he heard it gave him an idea and he put it down, and then the whole Pāṇinian grammar was developed based on that. So this concept of what we are going to talk this class and next class are the building bricks of Pāṇinian grammar. So you have to have it very clear. Okay. This is fairly simple because there is nothing new in it. It is just a rearrangement of the aksharas or the varnas in certain way, which once you know about it a little more and get to use it a little bit, not even the whole course, you will understand what a smart idea, okay, and how rational it is compared to what we read and write, kaka, ganga, all those things. Okay. So these 14 sutras are called Maheshwara Sutras. It is Maheshwara is the Shiva. Okay. Maheshwara means what came from Shiva. Okay. So it is not Maheshwara Sutra, it is Maheshwara Sutra. Sutrani means it is plural. Atha, I think everybody knows the meaning of Atha. It is like almost like saying Om. Atha means thus, now. Okay, here or here we go. Maheshwara Sutrani. Okay. And the sutras are listed here and given in the tabulated form in the next. So we will go by the page with the explanations. Okay. So A, I, U, N. Now we are familiar with A, I, and U. The N is something new. Okay. This is Pāṇinian concept. Okay. It is called ith letter. We'll talk about that. So in all of these 14 sutras, the last letter, which is a halantya. Okay, halantya means it is a pure consonant. Okay, so that is not part of the Varnamala. You recognize that. You know that A, I, U, R, R, E, I, O, O. So this N, K, N, those are not part of the alphabet or the part of the Aksharamala. They are there for a specific purpose, and we will see what the purpose is later on. Okay. And this is something you have to by heart and understand the concept also. Without that, we can't go forward. Okay. So that is why in any Saṁskṛta grammar class, whether it's a Pāṇinian grammar or just Saṁskṛta grammar, two things are always seen. One is the thanking of the three rishis. Okay. Katyayana, Patanjali, and Pāṇini. And then this I1, they generally make it as part of the prayer. Okay, that's what we are also doing. So A, I, Un, Rilk. Okay, and I mentioned in the last class, R, you'll have the R, but the second letter there, should be pronounced like a very light L only. There is no Ra sound, should not be there. Okay, Rilk, A, Om, I, Ouch, Hayavarat, Lan. Now this Lan, La has nasalized. There is a reason for that. Okay, we'll discuss all those things in the next couple of classes. Okay, then Nyamangananam, all of them are nasal. Nyamangananam, Jabhanya, Mahaprana, Ghadadhash, Mahaprana. And whenever I chant that as part of the prayer, I kind of make it more obvious, so that Alpa Prana, Mahaprana you catch easily. Okay, I exaggerate the Mahaprana-ness a little bit so that it will be caught clearly. Okay, Ghadadash, that is Mahaprana. Then Jaba Ghadadash, which is Alpa Prana. Okay, I think you can get it from my pronunciation. And then Kapha Chatata Chatatau. Again in this 11, the first 5 are Mahaprana. You can see that Kapha Chatata Chatatau. So I generally make it a point to give a short pause between the Mahapranas and Alpa Pranas, because last three are Alpa Pranas. Okay, Kapha Chatata Chatatau, Kapai Shasasar Hal. Okay, now these are the 14 sutras. The last letter is called, which is not part of the Aksharamala Varna, which is called ith letter. We will talk about why it is necessary and what is its function here and somewhere else. Okay, so for the time being, we'll stick to the book. So these are the 14 sutras. Okay, Iti Maheshwara Sutrani. Thus, the Maheshwara Sutras are completed. Okay, this is just like Iti Pratamodhyayaha, like that. Okay. So all the sounds used in Sanskrita language are represented by these 14 sutras. If you see that, A, I, U, R, R, E, I, O, O. So sutra 1 to 4 contains all the vowels. Okay. So the 5 to 14 covers all the consonants. The orders are a little different, especially with the consonants. The orders are a little different. We will talk about all those things. All the sounds used in Sanskrita language are represented by these 14 sutras From ha in the 5th sutra onwards, only the consonants are intended. A is added for pronunciation only. So I mentioned earlier in the pronunciation part, even though we say ka or kakara, what is intended there is the pure consonant. The ka is written as ka. This is true in any other language also. Okay. So even though it is written as ka, the akara is added pronunciation sake, uccharanarthe. Okay, what is intended is the k as a consonant. So from ha in the 5th sutra onwards, only consonants are intended. A is added just for pronunciation. Okay, so pronunciation for pronunciation, if you have to say in Sanskrita, uccharanarthe or uccharanartham. For the purpose of pronunciation, a akara is generally added, even though you intend to tell only that it is you are intending to tell only the pure consonant. Okay, now what is this last letter? So last consonant, which is n, I'm going 1 to 14, n, k, n, ch, t, n, the second n, m, ny, sh, sh, v, y, r, and l. Okay, this last consonant of each sutra has a name. Okay, it is called an it letter. Okay, so it, you can see it is written like this, it, and in the parenthesis she has given as it, and it looks like it, and this is the reason why I prefer to italicize. Whenever it is a Sanskrita meaning Sanskrita word, I tend to italicize so that you don't pronounce it as it. It has to be pronounced as it. Okay. If it is not italicized, you might tend, oh, okay, it's the English word, it. But what she meant here is it is it. So it letter. It is a name coined by Pāṇini. The grammarian before him also used this concept, but till Pāṇini's time, those things were called anubandhas. Okay, anubandha is that which ties them together. Like bandha is tying together. This is like a rubber band, putting two or more things together, tying things up. Okay, so the it letters are known as indicatory letters in indicator letters or pointer letters in English translation. Okay, so it is more meaningful because in Sanskrita, any word you can get to the meaning of the word. You do not, words just do not appear. They are derived by some meaning. Okay, their purpose is discussed in the following section. Now let's look at the whatever notes I have. So anubandha, that which took together, those are the words used by the previous grammarians. So Pāṇini, he's man of few syllables. So he used the word it, used by Pāṇini. So what is the meaning of it? So if you have an explanation for it, eti apagacchati iti it. Okay, eti means arrives or comes, appears. Apagacchati, goes away. Iti it. So a it letter, like all these 14 letters we have, they have certain purpose. They appear. Okay, does its job, whatever, combining together in this Maheshwara Sutras, their idea is like an abbreviation. But later on, it letters are used everywhere in Pāṇinian grammar. Okay, we'll come across a lot of it letters later on also, where they serve a different purpose. And then goes away. Okay, so it is eti, comes, does its thing, whatever job it has to do, and then disappears. Okay, so even here, when you say, suppose we use this to make an abbreviation, when you expand the abbreviation, the it letters will not be there. We will see that in the next class. Okay, so the main use of it letters in Pāṇini Sutras, these 14 it letters, is for making abbreviations or abridgment. Okay, so that abridged version is called pratyahara. Okay, let's see what a pratyahara means, because I have this note here. Okay, now this is used like, let's say, if I say ak, okay, I give some examples here. Ak, nyam, ach, hal, etc. Those are actually abbreviations. If I say ak, Pāṇinian notation, if anybody even basically knows a little basic information about Pāṇini, he will say, if I say ak, he will say that what I meant are the letters a, I, u, r, l. Okay, this is Pāṇini's concept. Ak, you start with one letter of the regular aksharamala, and then pick one of the ith letters. And all the letters in between, including the beginning letter, is what is meant. Okay, ak means a, I, u, r, l. If it is an, using this, that means a, I, u only, the three short vowels. Okay, if it is ak, a, I, u, r, l. If it is ach, for example, so start with a, go sequentially, leave out the other ith letters, just take the Varnamala letters only, and stop when you get the final ith letter, ach. Okay, ach means a, I, u, r, l, e, o, I, o. Okay, so ach means all the letters in the Sutra 1 to 4. That means ach indicates all the vowels. And that is why when a lot of times we say ach sandhi. Ach sandhi means all the vowel sandhis. So ach is a 1.5 syllable abbreviation by Pāṇinian notation using Maheshwara Sutras to indicate all the 9 vowels and all their 18 or 12 varieties. So that is the smartness of these ith letters. Okay, so the next page, the same thing, same sutras are rearranged a little bit and the ith letters are circled. So you study this, by heart it, and try to understand. So let's cover this before we stop because we lost some time. We will cover this page. Again, there is nothing new here. Okay, the letters of Maheshwara Sutras are rearranged for making pratyaharas. Okay, pratyaharas are abbreviations. For groups of letters, abbreviation means certain letters. If Pāṇini wants to use certain group of letters, he will find a pratyahara, okay, or abbreviation. This arrangement is easily understood in this table. Okay, again, this is Maheshwara Sutranis. So compare this to Matrika Patha. In Matrika Patha, vowels are arranged in the same way. Okay, but the consonants, compared to the Maheshwara Sutras, the consonant arrangement is totally different. Okay, so if you see this, let me make it a little smaller. A, I, U, N. N is an ith letter, so it is not part of the Aksharamala. That is why it is circled, just to show that in some Maheshwara Sutra they may be in a different color, maybe a red color or some other color, just to show that it is an ith letter. Okay, so A, I, U, N. Okay, so in that combination you can say an. An means A, I, U are included. If you can make another pratyahara, in. In means excluding a, I and U only. Okay, so that is how to read that. Let's just look at the arrangement. So the row 1, I, und, riluk, a, I, o, au. So these two, the first top row is simple vowels only. Okay, not diphthongs, simple vowels. A, I, u, r, l. The second row, which is sutra number 3 and 4, covers the 4 diphthongs. Okay, a, o, I, au. Okay, we generally in our regular by hearting we say a, I, o, au. Okay, here Pāṇini rearranged it as a, o, I, au because there are certain sandhis which are applicable only for a, o, like guna sandhi related to a and only a, o. So arranging a and o together helps him to write a sutra in minimum number of letters. I and au, we come across those two in the Vriddhi Sandhi because we saw the definition of Vriddhi. That is why those two letters are together. Okay, it is not AI and OO. Okay, so because he can use that much easier, much precisely, for brevity, this arrangement is there. Okay, and after the vowels, generally when our regular matrika patha or varna samamnaya, this is our normal by hearting. Okay, kaka gaganga cha cha ja ja nya, that's normal ones. Okay, comparing that. So after the a e all the vowels are over, we come across kaka gaganga suddenly. Okay, so vowels are, we saw that earlier also, vowels are soft. Suddenly you go into hard consonants. So here you can see that from vowels you go into semi vowels. Okay, again soft alpa prana. Okay, and then you go to nasals. Nyamangananam. This haya vara la. Okay, so ha ya va ra la. Now we generally are used to hearing yara lava and then shashasa. You can see that haya vara comes here, shashasa comes way at the end. So there is a reason why it is rearranged, and you can see that from vowel you go to semi vowel, not into hard consonants right away. And then again soft and nasal. Okay, nasals are always soft and alpa prana. Okay, and then you go to soft consonants. Mahaprana, soft consonants. And then you go to all the hard consonants. So there is a sequence, there is a more logical arrangement of the letters, and in between you see these ith letters, and we'll come to the usage of ith letters in the next class. And some of the information, this alpa prana, mahaprana was not given in the book. So just to make the information complete, I put this information here, and a copy of this is available in I think the miscellaneous subfolder in the Google Drive. Okay, so I think we will stop here and we will continue from this notes onwards. So you have some by hearting. Okay, so look at the sequence and by heart and get the pronunciations right, especially when you come to the sha, sa, sa, and see the sequence, which is hard, which is soft, alpa prana, mahaprana, and see the groups. Like we generally use the first column is ka, cha, ta, ta. So those things are also given here on the left. So consonant, soft, hard, all the things are there. And alpa prana, mahaprana were not there. So I wrote that on the right side. Okay. I think we will do the prayers and then open for any questions. Okay. So the prayers, concluding prayers. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate, purnasya purnamadaya purnamevavashishyate. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions?
I have one FYI for those who want to memorize. Listen to Maheshwara Sutras by Pandit Jasraj.
Okay. Now, the importance here is not the musicality of it. The importance is what letters are there, what ith letters are there, and sometimes things get drowned in the music. So here the importance is what are the letters, what are the ith letters, and there's a pronunciation. Okay. Yeah, I think in the YouTube there are several clips are available about because they made it into a mantra like a chanting and with the music.
Mahodaya, I have a question.
Yeah.
He used Pāṇini uses different it letters for for different sutras.
Yeah.
Is there a reason, and is there a particular reason for using ana in the first one and ta in the second and so on?
Yeah, you needed different ones. Actually the question generally is why the na is used twice. Okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Otherwise it will be confusing. Correct. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that is the only valid question. I don't know, but there's a couple of things to be noted. There's only one sutra where the second na is used as an. So it's not a big thing, and this is a very common question. Why couldn't he find some other consonant to put in the second place? So who knows why he used that?
Right.
In a similar way, there's another letter, ha is used twice. That's repeated.
Yeah, ha used twice. You will see the usefulness of ha being twice, because because whenever you say something to hal, it is always referring to the first ha, because there is no abbreviation required if only one consonant is covered, right? Okay, so there is 2 or 3 sutras. When we come to that, maybe I have a list of the, there are about 200 plus, about 280 different abbreviations you can make. Okay, with these 14 it letters, you can make about 200 plus abbreviations or pratyaharas. But Pāṇini used only about 44 in his sutras. Okay. So when we look at some of these 44 pratyaharas he used, you will understand what was the need for the second half for the second time. Okay.
I have a question, Mahodaya.
Yeah.
So when you're memorizing the Maheshwari Sutrani, we will be we'll pronounce the it words also, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, yes.
Of course, of course.
Okay.
Okay. And it letters are very necessary, because otherwise you can't make the abbreviation without the it letter.
Mahodaya, I have a question.
Yeah.
My question rather was, why these particular it letters? I mean, let's say for the first one he could have put ka, second one he could have put ana. That was the question.
Yeah, we don't know, because he had to put different ones for whatever reason, and I don't think anybody knows the reason. They're taken as it letters, and sometimes some of the things were explained by the Vartikakara and the Bhāṣyakara later on, because the why this everywhere else the akara is from 5 onwards, everywhere else the akara is for pronunciation, but in the case of this Lan Sutra, the a and the anuswa a and the chandrabindu is not brought for pronunciation. Okay, it is additional meaning specifically for one specific sutra, its usefulness. So those kinds of the things were written up later, not by Pāṇini. Pāṇini, I think, just somebody he dictated the sutras, somebody wrote it down, and the rishis afterwards, they gave the explanation why it is like that. So Pāṇini, maybe first consonant that came into his mind is maybe na. So he added na, or that is how the damaru sounded to him, like more than a na, not like a nga or ka. That's all I can guess.
Thank you, Mahodaya.
I have a question.
Wait,
Hello? I have a question. How do you get to this OneNote, this document?
OneNote is, I think, it's part of Microsoft.
No, I mean the one that the one that we are recording, right? Is there a file that I can download this? Your notes, the notes that we are looking at now.
They're in the miscellaneous section. That's what he's.
Yeah, this all the copies, all this Prarthana Shloka and other things.
No, the whole OneNote document. I'm talking about the whole one. Since you started this all.
no, I don't think it is available to you. And what I have told in the beginning of the class is any of the things like, from this page, you have the textbook anyway, but suppose you wanted to have a copy of all these things, then I said those pages, I will put it individual pages in there. So other than that, I don't have anything.
Also, there is no document. You cannot this one is not shareable, in other words.
No, this is shareable in the sense you can see it in the class, and if you need a copy of that, okay.
Yes.
In the textbook, you have, this is a PDF of the textbook. You have all these things, except for the things I put in blue.
I thought the whole thing is a
I
soft
think
copy.
I think what he's trying to ask is like, if he wants to go over the lecture one more time, he can see all these additional things in the recordings.
In the recording, it's a video recording.
That I understand. I thought, in addition to that recording, this should be a separate document.
No,
not separate document. So if somebody wants to say, earlier in the first class, he said, okay, we wanted to write down all those things, but it's too much to write down. Can we have a copy of this?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, that page copy, I will put it in the Google Drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the miscellaneous things, those kinds of pages, if somebody asks, and this page, because this is very necessary, because I told everybody make a printout of this and put it on your computer or right in front of you. So these things are already there. So you can take a printout or do whatever. And
so
similar.
The reason is you cannot have a file of this. This is not a document. In other words, the whole thing that you started from beginning is here, right? Everything that you taught is being here.
Yes.
So I thought in addition to the recording, this will be another file. I can directly go there and check instead of going to recording.
Okay. Directly, I don't think you will have the whole, like, the ESGB2, this is the whole book with my notes. This thing is not in the drive. You don't have an access.
Okay.
Okay. In the drive, the original book, black and white, PDF copy is there. And anytime somebody said, can we have a copy of this page instead of writing down these notes? So like, for example, if somebody is interested in Pāṇini's history, so I wrote that everything down. In the class, you don't have time to scribble down all the things. So if they ask to put me a copy of that in a common folder, then I can put that. You can take that, take a printout, or do whatever later on.
So it's a limitation of the OneNote software that it does not create a document like Word does. Is that the reason?
I think so. I think you can make it.
No, I mean, it will be very, very useful okay, it's fine if it cannot be done.
It can be saved as a PDF, actually. You can do an export and save it as PDF.
Yeah.
So otherwise it's local to the person who's creating into their system, right? There's the only way is to export it. There's no file associated with this. That's what I'm understanding now.
What I have been doing.
I have a question on pronunciation.
Yeah.
On the 11th sutra.
Which one?
11, towards the end with chatta.
Oh, okay. 11. Okay. 11th sutra.
Yeah, chatatava. When it's chanted, it sounds like chatatau.
Okay, it is v. Chatatav.
Chatatav.
Okay, 11th sutra.
Sounds, when it's chanted, it does sound like an ow sound.
You just pronounce as it is written. Okay, kapha chatatav, chatatav, and when you speak fast, it might sound like the ow after tha. Okay, but you can see how it is written, and it cannot end with the ow because all the ith letters are consonants. Okay, by definition, they have to be halantya or consonant.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm a little picky about pronunciation. For example, sometimes when even some of the teachers, when they pronounce like the sutras 3 and 4, Eong Ayauch, especially Ayauch. So generally I and au, when the words are made, there is a sandhi generally happens. There is a sound of a yaka, ya sound will appear in the sandhi. But here we are not talking about sandhi. So I specifically say I ouch, not I don't say I ouch. Okay, like in any other case, we'll come across a sandhi like yan sandhi. Certain vowel combinations will produce like a e and a will produce a ya sound. Okay. Now here we are not talking about sandhi, so I tend to separate a om, I ouch as separately. I have heard people saying I ouch as if sandhi is made.
Jagdish ji, I have trouble pronouncing the 6th sutra, which is la with Chandrabindu and na.
Yeah.
I am not able to say it properly except say lan.
Okay. So try to make the la with the nasal, the lan.
Yeah.
Just forget about the la. There's no problem with that. When you pronounce the la part,
how to bring the ng, la, ng, na.
Yeah, lan. Yeah. So you start with the nasalized la.
Lang.
Yeah, lan. There is no nga. It is a na.
No. But the Chandrabindu, how do I pronounce that?
Okay. So let's leave out the na part out. Let's just pronounce the full letter.
Lang.
You pronounce it as la.
La.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you did it right.
Okay.
After the la is done, just add the n at the end.
Okay. Lan.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
One last question, not related to this. Sometimes I see the use of comma is there in Sanskrit. That doesn't seem to be part of Sanskrit, right?
No. Classical Sanskrita doesn't have any of the marks other than the danda. Danda is like the period.
Full stop.
Okay. Other commas and other things, even in the bhashyas and other things, people use it. So if you need a little pause or separating of the phrases, because then it is borrowed from other languages or English. In Sanskrita, generally there will be words will be there for that the stress factor or things like that. But there are no other punctuation marks than danda in Sanskrita. Classical Sanskrita.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can you please pronounce the 7th sutra, Jagdish ji?
7th sutra.
Yamangananam.
Okay. All of them are nasals.
Okay.
Pronounce it as you pronounce, as it is written. That is the beauty of Sanskrita. Nya, ma, nga, na, nam.
How do I pronounce the 3rd letter after the ma?
Nga. Nga. Okay, because nga is kavarga. Ka, ga, ga, nga. So the controlling is at the throat.
Okay. Nga.
Okay. So it is a guttural nasal.
Okay.
Kanthya anunasika.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So it's just like a nasalized ka.
Okay.
Not nasalized ka. Nasalized ka is very different. Okay. So the cha cha ja ja nya, that is the first. Ma, of course, there is no confusion. Okay. Papa baba ma is the simplest of the nasals. Nya is the chavarga. Nga, the third one is the kavarga. And the na is retroflex. Okay. Murdanya, which is the Ganesha na. And the last one is the simple na. Namaste na.
Yeah.
Okay. And the ma at the end is it letter. It is not part of this because ma is already covered as the second letter.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The makara at the end is it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you, Jagdishi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Shubhratri.
Good night.
Shubhratri.
Thank
And
you.
I think I should not switch on my video camera. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om Jagadisha ji.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om Jagdish ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Dhanyavadaga.
Good night. Shubhratri.
Shubhratri.